Alrighty, guys, welcome back to it. Conservative Confucius back at it again. Sorry for the little absence lately. I got a lot of stuff going on. Um, just I had a fever yesterday, real bad dehydration, and some crap going on with YouTube. They've been age restricting, trying to stifle my channel, but we'll trying to get that fixed. Make sure they don't do it again. We're gonna have to probably not. I'm probably not gonna be able to go as hard as I want to in each video, but sacrifices must be made to keep this thing going so we can keep focusing on pushing out the truth and talking about the values that matter to us. Alrighty, so I'm going to talk about something that I think is very important right now. We need to talk about Israel and Ukraine, both. Who is okay to support, who's not? Why is one okay to support? Why is the other not? Or are both of them okay to support? And we're going to go over the reasons why. We're going to go over some relating things. We're also going to go over some things about the Conservative Party and how there are some issues going on within them that need to be focused on. And I think that that's something that we should be looking into and making sure that we call those people out. Alrighty, so let's get into it. Don't forget to go down there, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell for notifications. Don't forget to share the video as well. Alrighty, let's get down to it. Alrighty, so I had posted this the other day, and I was thinking about it. And I was calling out the fact that Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, they've kind of been drifting over the last 6 months or so. It seems like they're really, really drifting away from like who they were and always have been for the most part, to like slowly becoming more and more like, not, I wouldn't say radical, but I don't know. I don't even want to say corrupt, but what's the best way to put it? I don't know, just not themselves. They're becoming not good for. They're not following our values. They're not following our system of government. They don't seem to believe in America anymore, and they seem to be very, very isolationist, which I'm not really for. I don't believe we should be funding endless wars. I don't believe we should be sending huge amounts of money to Ukraine and Israel. But I do believe we should support our allies and always show them support whenever they need it, especially when it's against an enemy that's dangerous. But we'll get into how that relates to Ukraine and Israel in a bit. So I'm just going to read you some of what I wrote. All right, so Candace used to be a true fighter for the conservative cause. Tucker Carlson, too. Now it seems that they are both further and further indoctrinated and influenced by the very enemies they used to warn us about. Honestly, I knew Candace was going downhill when she started simping for Andrew Tate. Sure, Tate says a lot of stuff that's 100% on point and based, but he's a scumbag human being. And he may not have trafficked women or raped any, but he sure was a pimp, and he's still a massive piece of crap. Also, conservatives need to start weeding out the kind of extreme libertarians and people who seem to not see the fact that supporting our enemies is dangerous. And by that, I mean the people who are supporting Russia and still calling themselves America first. The people who simp for Russia and Iran and all of these terrorist entities that have hated us and scream death to America on a daily basis, yet they're supporting them, like in posting pro-Russia shit and posting pro-Iran stuff and saying, oh, pray for the people of Iran. They just lost their leader, their great and powerful, amazing leader. Are you kidding me? Like, stop being bitches. So too many conservatives think Russia is good, and it's a paragon of conservative values, yet they seem to forget that almost all of online webcam girls are Russian and are in Russia. Russian porn is 1/4 of all the world's porn. Russian influence in media is huge. For example, I used to love a channel called Redacted. They are, guarantee you, a Russian paid entity. And I learned that over watching them over the last year. I just kept getting very odd vibes from their channel. And then I started noticing things. Like I would hear something about Russia, and then boom, they would say, oh, this about Russia. And I'd hear something about something going on in Ukraine, and boom, I'd hear them saying the pro-Russia version of whatever. It was like every time I'd see something happen in the news bad about Russia, they'd say the good thing. If something happened in Ukraine, or Ukraine did to Russia, they would condemn Ukraine. And it was like they were constantly doing this every single time. And I was like, okay, this is weird. And then when the terrorist attack happened, they immediately said, before they even knew, before anybody knew anything, which, by the way, their point isn't true. Even after, if they would have waited, it wouldn't have changed. That the terrorist attack was, done by Ukraine, but turns out it was done by radical Islamists from a terrorist group. You can see the big black flag in the back of their group picture, which I posted on my Twitter. So yeah, let's get into this a little more. So until conservatives start to see this, we will not get the wins we need. And also conservatives need to start. Oh, sorry. My bad. I read that part. So yeah, Redacted on YouTube took me a while to eventually I realized that they were shills. And finally, Russian society is not this great, Christian paragon, our society, like this great Christian, valued, great Judeo-Christian value country that has this amazing system where everyone's religion is respected and Christians have respect. No, it's not that at all. It's overrun by radical Islamists. They literally tried to do a pogrom right after October 7th and October 11th, before Israel even retaliated. They were hunting down Jews at airports in southern Russia. It's crazy. And so yeah, let's see. Proof is in the pudding. Look at the terrorist attack that's in Russia that just happened that I mentioned. That didn't Poland, very, very pro-Christian country, very, very low, like no illegal immigration at all. And they're a country. If you want to look to a country in that side of the world that's a paragon of Christian values and stands up for religious freedoms and doesn't like radical Islam and doesn't put up with it, which isn't a religious freedom to be a radical Islamist. That's a danger to society, and anything that's caused and been proven to be that dangerous is not a freedom in a country like the West. So in any Western country, I mean. So if you want to look to a country that you say Russia is like, but it actually isn't, look to Poland. It's a great example. Far lower corruption than any Eastern European country. Amazing, Christianity is respected there. Yeah, they have some issues. Every country has issues. I would say they have an issue with racism, but it's not any worse than any other Eastern European country. Like, I would say that Ukraine is about 100 times worse. I mean, just look at their military uniforms. They're covered in Nazi patches. Alrighty, so let's continue. The shills in Ukraine, or shills claim Ukraine paid the Islamic terrorists to do so, but we all know they didn't. We all know that Islamic terrorists don't answer to the West and never would and never will. I do agree with many people who are critical of funding endless wars. Like, we should 100% not give another cent to Ukraine. We have given them $290 billion total, while they embezzle and fraudulently use around 80% of the funds, according to recent research. Also, their leaders have been caught stealing millions. An official's desk was found to have an envelope with $1.75 million in it. Also, I don't think I mentioned this next one. Also, there was I don't know if it was official or military, like a government official or military. I think it was a military official, was seen in Monaco, was seen in Monaco at a luxury car or supercar dealership buying a supercar. Insane. Yeah, so they say we only give them credit to buy U.S. weapons, but that's not actually true, because a lot of times will give them it's like kind of like aid currency. So the issue is that's not entirely true when it comes to Ukraine. Unlike Israel, they don't just need weapons. So we give them money for infrastructure aid, like food, other types of aid, and so on. Only 15 to 20% of the money we send actually makes it to the front lines. The biggest thing is what does Ukraine give us in return? So they give us some type of, developments. Do they give us inventions or, innovations or weapons designs? Or are they giving us some type of military technology? Do they give us great, advancements in other areas that we can then benefit our own society from? But they don't. They give us nothing. They actually make our economy worse, and I would say they're actually doing a harm to us by us helping them. So the biggest Yeah, sorry, I mentioned that. Yeah. So I said, no, they give us nothing. The only thing they seem to give us is an endless supply of Nazi supporting soldiers who wear Nazi patches, carry Nazi flags, and have Nazi tattoos. Now, what about Israel? Israel doesn't need food aid, infrastructure aid, or much of anything else besides weapons. They also don't need a lot of offensive weaponry besides precision, low damage missiles. So, meaning high precision, low damage missiles, meaning something that can go in and kill a single or a small amount of targets with a minimal damage to the building and surrounding territory. But they have tons of very imprecise high damage missiles, which are the regular kinds of missiles and rockets. They have tons of those. And that's what Israel's going to have to use if we don't give them weapons. So it is not only in our interest and the Palestinians' interests and Israel's interest to all give Israel the weapons. It's impossible to think that if we don't, you're going to let the Palestinians get hurt and you're going to let the Israelis look bad. And you're going to be the one who caused it, because instead of just saying, here's this small amount of aid that you need, and, be done with it and finally end this fucking war. Or you can continue to give one country who doesn't help us, has only hurt us, and is completely corrupt and filled with Nazis and racists, and you're going to continue to funnel aid into them while not. I think we should support Ukraine with as much, I guess you could say, I don't want to say emotional support, but just political support. But we've given them enough. If they don't have the means to win it now, they're not going to ever win it. And that's why there needs to be a negotiation. And the problem is it's not going to happen until Trump. Biden's too weak of a leader. If we tried it now, he would seize more land afterwards. Seeing the weakness of Biden in person, it would just be horrible. Sorry. So yeah, Israel. Yeah. So so if the U.S. doesn't start giving back aid to Israel, then they'll have to start using imprecise weaponry. That makes it more likely to cause civilian casualties. While the U.S. has the ability to change with an amount of money that is nothing compared. Oh, sorry. The U.S. has the ability to change that with a small amount of money that is nothing compared to even a tenth of the amount of Ukraine aid that we've given so far. Yeah, so we're getting over the last, I think it's what? I think it was 6 years or 8 years. I think it's either 6 or 8 years. We've given them $10.3 billion, and we've given just over 2.5 years. We've given Ukraine almost $290 billion. Can you imagine? Why are people complaining about Israel? Yeah, Israel's a smaller country, but they give us so much in everything, in weapons designs and military, other types of military technology, advanced technology, chip development for computers, phones, satellites, everything. They are literally our most important ally in the world. And they give us more development, more innovations, inventions, and developments than any other country in the world, with medical innovations, scientific innovations, physics innovations, and discoveries. They are insanely productive, most highly productive society in the world. And yet we're trying to say, oh no, we'll just keep supporting Ukraine, but the people, who don't want Gaza to whatever crap, they don't want to support Israel. And it's are you kidding me? So you're going to help an enemy who's actively wearing Nazi uniforms, but you're not going to help, or you're going to help an ally who's wearing Nazi uniforms, but you're not going to help the ally who suffered under the actual Nazis and is trying to fight a war to protect themselves from radicalism unless you want to wipe them off the face of the earth. Go screw yourself. Yeah. So, not only that, just look, for example, let's not forget the most important thing for Americans is the safety of Americans. And what do we get out of this? We get so much from Israel. Like I said, we get ranging from medical, mathematical, psychological, scientific, engineering, computer, film, TV, intellectual, technological, historical, theological, and archaeological discoveries, innovations, and inventions. So yeah, it's crazy. And then obviously weapons. Weapons are most important. It's for our safety. So yes, their weapons, IWI, Israeli Weapons Industry, one of the biggest weapons, companies in the world. Previously, IMI, Israeli Military Industries, changed its name in 2005, and everybody knows the Desert Eagle. Everybody knows the Desert Eagle. Let's see. Everybody knows the Desert Eagle. This big ass gun. Everybody knows that gun. Whoa. Hold on. I just wanted to open that up. There. Everybody knows that gun. That gun is made by Israel. And that gun was so crazy. So as you can see, there's two separate parts. Like I'll just use sorry. So this lighter or more silvery part, I guess you could say more shiny-ish, darker, I guess you could say. That is the front. It's actually directly connected to the barrel, so it's one piece. So instead of having this entire top piece be a slide, because this is such a powerful bullet and a gun, they decided to make this whole part the barrel, and it stays there. So when this part, which is the slide, which is so much smaller, they took the design kind of like idea off of what Beretta had done, but then even modified it even more. So this part goes back. So instead of the entire slide going back like that, it's just a piece of it. So it goes. So when you fire the gun, instead of going like that with a massive 50 ANE bullet, which is basically 50 caliber for a handgun, not 50 caliber machine gun. Same diameter, different gunpowder, amount and shell size. So, anyways, yeah. So 50 A&E is about not much. This is a 38, or no, sorry, this is 357. I had 38 in there the other day. So this is about the same length as a 50 A&E. So they're pretty dang big bullets. But it's about 2 times thicker than this. And yeah, I mean it's a huge gun. And this gun was a massive discovery in weapons innovation. I mean, it revolutionized weapons that so many people don't know. Also, half of Heckler & Koch's weapons are produced and designed in Israel by Israeli people. And Heckler & Koch is one of the biggest, half of our special forces use Heckler & Koch. Half of our military at many points will use a Heckler & Koch other than an M4. So, I mean, this is insane that people sit here and they talk about, oh, what does Israel give us? What do they give us, dude? Are you kidding me? They give us so much more than we give them. I would say that they've given us more in innovations, discoveries, inventions, all that crap. They've given more to the world than the world has ever given them. If you want to compare the two governments, it's a no contest. I'm not a fan of the Israeli government as it currently is, but it is definitely a government I would live under, especially compared to most Western governments of today. There's literally no government on earth besides Argentina that I'm actually 100% or maybe 90% happy with. Just as some examples, Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, has arrested his political oppositions, locked them in jail, arrested and locked up all of the media that has criticized him or the war, arrested and locked up all the religious leaders, shut down all churches and synagogues, and is now kidnapping children off the street as young as 15 and 16 and taking them straight to the front lines for war, tearing them from their mother's arms and literally stopping cars that a woman is in to see if there's any children she might be hiding. I saw a video where a woman was parked at a place and she went in to get something, came back out, and the cops pulled behind her car and blocked her in, and she was on a wall on this side, so she couldn't get out. And they made her open her car up, and they searched her car. It was empty, but they knew that she might have kids in there. So what do? I guess she had stow-and-go compartments. She was hiding 2 16-year-old boys, her children, or two, like a 15-year-old, 16-year-old boy, in her stow-and-go compartments. And they literally ripped them from the car, ripped them from her mother, like she was trying to grab onto them, ripped the mother away, and then took them into a car, shoved them in the back, slammed the door, and drove off. It's so bad that they're literally having women surround the boys, which I mentioned here. Whenever a cop, they see or not a cop, but a military conscription person or, anybody, even police too, they see them and they know they're there's a young boy by. What they'll do is they'll surround the cop in a circle, a whole bunch of them, even multiple circles. And they'll do that. And they'll try to keep the cop, because they know the cop won't just outright attack them. So, or at least, most of them won't. And most of them are even willing to sacrifice themselves in case that happens. So what happens is they surround them, and then the kids run away. Like they just book it. It's insane. Yeah, so I that's what I mentioned right here. So yeah, he continues not to call out the Nazi element from his military. The Azov battalion, which I spelled for some reason wrong here. I should have gone back. It's ASOV battalion, which is the neo-Nazi battalion. The symbol that they use is a mix between the swastika and the SS lightning bolt. Yeah, so AZOV. Oh, that's why I did spell it wrong. I thought it was, for some reason I was like, oh, S. Yeah, no, I don't know why I forgot. It's AZOV, not ASOV. Yeah, so this is their symbol right here. See? Similar to the lightning bolt and the swastika at the same time. So he did like they did like a perfect mixture of the two, and then they made that their symbol. And they use like, hold on. This is really common for them. They use like Nazi patches on half of their military. It's insane. It's super crazy. And it seems that for some reason, none of their superiors, none of their, leaders, officials, whatever you want to say, COs, none of them are calling them out and saying, hey, that patch is inappropriate. You can't wear that. That gives us, a bad image in the world. Nope, none of them are getting told that. They're just told nothing, I guess, and it's insane. Like, why is that okay? To type in Ukraine too. Yeah. There we go. And there it is. All right, here we go. All right, here you go. So we'll get into this one right here. So here, most of the Ukrainian soldiers, you'll see the skull patch at some point. So this right here, this is the Nazi SS skull. And we'll go through that. We'll show you that one to make sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, that I'm not lying. There you go. Right there. One of the girls even wearing that exact patch right there. See? Boom. Except for that one has a helmet on. Yeah, it's the same thing, but they added a. So they added a that one's just the regular one right there. That one. This girl has yeah. See, there you go. Yeah, see the right there in the center of her. Right there, she has a just the regular German eagle with a wreath, the circle, the wreath with it, and then a Nazi symbol in it. And then this one right here, this circular one, that's like a weird looking occult symbol. That is actually it was actually a random symbol that was found in a house that was taken from a family. That just had, like, I don't even think they were Jewish. They were just a family that lived in a house, and no, I remember they weren't Jewish. They're just a rich family that was kicked out of their house so Himmler could have it. It was in the country, and they liked it, so they took it. And they found that symbol on the floor, and it's called they call it the Black Sun. I don't know if that's actually the original name or the name they gave it since the Nazis, but let's see. Yeah, Nazi Black Sun. Yep, there it is. Yep, see, right there, boom. Go back and show you again. See, right there, boom. Nazi eagle. I don't know why that one you can't see that symbol. Oh, this is that. Okay, so that flag, that's another Nazi symbol. She has it on her chest. I forgot. And then so this girl has this symbol too. This triple triangle is also a Nazi symbol. And then this is just it's got a lightning bolt on the front, obviously to represent the SS. It's wearing an army helmet like a soldier, and then you got the other symbol. So they're covered in Nazi. And this is just one of many posts I did on this. They're covered in Nazi memorabilia. And let's not forget who started the war. The Nazi Azov battalion in 2014 attacked a village in eastern Ukraine that identified as Russian identifying Ukrainians. and spoke Russian. Many of the people from that village were Jewish, mainly Jewish elderly couples and Jewish families, along with some Russian identifying Ukrainian. It was called Donbass. For years, they wanted to be part of Russia. They had been advocating to be part of Russia. I don't agree with Russia. I'm not saying Russia is a great place. I don't support Russia. They're a tyrannical, dictatorial, horrible country that is not something to be looked up to. But they started this war. They attacked Donbass, and Russia almost felt like they almost felt like Donbass was like their little brother. It was like it was a people that didn't have a home. They wanted to be part of Russia. Ukraine wouldn't allow it. They didn't want to start a war. It was something that they just, it was like, ugh. And so when they got attacked, Russia was like, all right, this is it. We're done. We're taking that town, and they did. And that's when Russia annexed Crimea, which started the Donbass. Well, I mean, I guess the attack actually started the Donbass War, and they killed hundreds, if not thousands of people. And it's just tiring. I'm tired of hearing this shit. It would continue to be an issue. So, I mean, and then you look at Israel. So Israel, a country that has continually fought for peace. Since 1967, after the Six-Day War, they've given 90% of the land they had up. So they annexed all of the Sinai Peninsula, all of the West Bank, parts of Jordan, parts of southern Lebanon and Syria, and the Golan and all that. They gave back 90% of it. They gave back all the land to Syria, Lebanon, and Egypt, and Jordan, and then they gave back land Palestinians. They gave back Gaza in 2005, years later. They've done so much to guarantee peace, and they've been denied that guarantee every time. They made a promise. They said, hey, we want peace. We'll do anything for it. And guess what? They don't care. So I'm not here to justify Russia's conflict with Ukraine. I'm not here to delegitimize Ukraine as a country. Honestly, I don't really care. I have my own personal opinions on Ukraine. It was originally the original homeland of the Rus Empire, the Russian Empire. Kiev was the original founding city. Before that Putin fucking interview, I was saying this online. And Ukraine, Kiev specifically, is the homeland, the original capital city of the Rus Empire. It's the starting point for all Russian history. Like Prince Oleg lived there and had a massive city there. It was like the big trading city for all of the Rus Empire for hundreds of years. And I can understand why Putin is pissed. I mean, until 1991, it was Russia. I can get why he's pissed, but I don't support him. It's now a sovereign country. They have their own government. They don't want to be part of Russia, and I can understand why they don't want to be part of Russia. And if they don't want to be part of that system, it's their job to elect a leader who doesn't rule just like them. So that's why I have a problem with them, is because they elected a leader who's a piece of shit, who's a comedian, literally a comedian from TV, who got naked on television or music videos and on television and danced in ladies' lingerie and women's shoes. Like, he's not a leader. He's a piece of crap. He's a narcissistic, attention-hungry, I guess you could say just power-hungry attention whore. And I think that people need to start realizing this. Yeah, so like I said at the end, over the last 6 years, Israel's gotten $10 billion in aid, and it's over $270 billion, it's almost $290 billion now in 2.5 years for Ukraine. So, I mean, what are we looking at, guys? What are we looking at? I mean, and not only that, just like think about Israel. So Israel is the only country that has ever successfully decolonized themselves. They decolonized themselves from the British after a failed promise was made to them that they failed actually coming through on. For over 40 years. They were told that they were going to get a state, the Jews. They never did. And eventually, when finally they were like, okay, you can have this piece of land, they said, yeah, you can have that land, but you can't have any of your ancestral home pieces or your ancestral cities. You can have pieces of the land that was part of your homeland, but none of the places that matter. And the Jews were like, hey, fine, that's perfectly okay with us. We want anything in our homeland, in our area that we used to live. It doesn't matter. You could even give us a piece of land 70 miles away from Israel and we'd still be happy. And they accepted. The Arabs didn't. And Britain was like, hey, we're not going to get any farther. We're not going to go any further. We can't do the deal anymore. Israel literally said, we're not waiting any longer. We've waited 40 plus years. This is it. We're done. We're declaring independence without you. And they said, Britain, get out. This is our country now. And they took over the land, not all of the land, but the land that Britain promised them. This small portion of land they didn't want, didn't have any of their ancestral homeland or any of their ancestral cities within the homeland. And so they said, okay, this is our land. Then the Arabs attacked them the next day, all 5 Arab countries and the territories next to them. And after that, they ended up winning, of course, and got all of the original land that they should have been getting, that they were promised before. Actually, they were promised about 5 times that amount of land, but it was given to Jordan, then Syria, then Lebanon. So, I mean, it's just ridiculous that these people constantly never want to point out the actual facts behind the history. So, alrighty, guys. I know this is a little bit of a long one, but I think it was an important topic. I wanted to do something that, I just thought you guys might like listening to. I know we didn't go over any videos or anything, but I hope I entertained you enough for you guys to stay in and listen. Alrighty. Well, I think that's going to be it for today on this video. So don't forget to get down there, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and don't forget to share this video. Alrighty, guys, come back for more. I appreciate you guys coming down. Alrighty, this is Conservative Confucius. Catch you next time. Alrighty. Have a good one, guys.